Namaskar. Today we are going to discuss Picard's existence and uniqueness theorem. So this is very important topic in the context of differential equation. Basically, in all the competitive examination like NET and national level examinations, you can see there are always some questions from this theorem, Picard's existence and uniqueness theorem. And today we are going to discuss a statement, and we are going to also prove it step by step how we can prove Picard's existence theorem. Now, in Picard's existence theorem, whatever condition we are going to impose to on the equation so that the solution become unique and the solution exists, you will see all these conditions are not necessary, but they are sufficient for the existence and uniqueness of the solution. Necessary means there are not necessary means there are some there may be some differential equation where without satisfying this condition the solution exists. Okay, that we will also see at the end of the proof of this theorem. We will also discuss this type of examples where we will see that these conditions are not necessary but sufficient. So this is very important to remember this. All these conditions we are going to discuss in this theorem, these conditions are not necessary but it is sufficient for the result. And if it is not necessary, then there is always a scope for improvement to make it necessary. That means what is the minimum conditions that should be satisfied so that it become necessary. So we'll also we'll see all this discussion after the proof of this theorem. We'll also discuss all these conditions and how there is a scope of improvement the conditions of Picard existence theorem, and how we can improve it with less conditions, with less sufficient conditions. So with this summary, let's start today's discussion. So already the topic is differential equation and numerical solutions, and under this topic we are going to discuss this theorem. Okay, so as you can see the Picard's theorem, this is statement. So what we are doing here we have a first order differential equation, initial value problem. We say this is an initial value problem. Why? Because at the point of x0, the value of y is given, that is y0. So we have a first order differential equation. Okay, now we are going to discuss the conditions if which are sufficient for the existence of the solution, one, and second for the uniqueness of the solution. Okay, so basically there are two conditions. Let's discuss. This function y dash equal to f of xy, this f of xy should be continuous, okay, on an closed domain. Now here, as Picard have taken at this theorem, this domain is rectangle domain with parallel to the x-axis. Both the we'll also see the domain in the figure. So this is f have to be continuous on a bounded region, a bounded domain. Here this bounded domain is closed rectangle R. Okay, and the partial derivative of f with respect to y, that is del f del y, be continuous. This partial derivative should be also continuous. These are the conditions that have to satisfy. These are the conditions are sufficient for the existence and uniqueness of the solution of this equation. Okay, and formally they are saying if x0 y0 is a interior point of R, then now where this solution exists, they are giving you a region. That where we are going to find this solution, that is we are going to find this solution in a closed region around x0 y0 point, because x0 y0 point is our initial points. So this initial value are given, so we are going to find this solution around these points in a closed region. So if x0 y0 is an interior point of R, then there obviously this point have to be interior. Otherwise, how you can find out the value of y? Because the function f is defined on R. So if you want to calculate the value of the function at this point, to this point have to be interior, obviously. So you cannot take any initial condition at any point. If your point should be within the region. Okay. So if x0 y0 is an interior point of R, then there exists a number H0. H0 is a positive small real number, and using this H0 we are going to build a small domain around this point. Okay, that's why we are taking this H0 greater than 0 with the property that the initial value problem has one and only one solution. One and only means this is a unique solution. Okay, and where is the solution exists? In this interval, as I was saying, within the region, within a small region of x0, because x0 is our initial point, so the region should contain x0, and this is your region where we are going to find this unique solution. And once again, these conditions are sufficient, not necessary. Okay, all these conditions are sufficient for the existence and uniqueness, not necessary. Okay, let's move towards this figure. So if you see this figure, this is your domain R. This capital R is this is your domain, and this is your function. Now this is your actually solution, but we don't know this solution. We are going to find how we can see. Okay, so if this is your solution, this solution has to pass this point, and this solution will be within this region as per the definition of this equation. So this is our understanding. So what is R? This is R, and this is our Y. We don't know what is Y, but Y have to pass through this point, and it have to be within this region. So this is the figure we can draw from these conditions. Okay, let's, what is H? So we are using H, we are again constructing another region, a small region, taking x0, y0. So we are constructing another region taking x0, y0. Why? Because the function is defined on R, but sometimes it happens that all this property, beautiful property we are talking about, may not exist within the whole region. There is no problem. R1 can be R also. There is no problem. R1 can be R also, because we are taking R1. H is our, we are taking H. There is no restriction. H should be greater than 0. There is no restriction. So see, this is our H. Okay, so there is no restriction on choosing H. H should be 0. You can take H greater than as much bigger as you want, and you can make it equal to R also. But suppose in some cases your region is bigger, but you are not able to find all this condition, that is f of xy is continuous 1, and second is the partial derivative with respect to y of f is continuous, and these two conditions you are not able to prove in the whole region, but you are able to prove in a small region. Obviously, then at least, okay, we are not able to find the solution in the bigger region, but in a small region we will be able to find the solution. So that's why we are constructing this H. We are not initially, we are not starting with R. We are, okay, if we are not able to find in the whole region, then also our theorem will give you solution in a small region. Now H can be as big as you want. If all these conditions satisfy, you can take bigger H, no problem. Okay, so R1 will be, then in this case R1 will be R also. It can go bigger and it may be equal to R. Okay, now let's step by step see the proofs of this theorem. So initially, let me just give you hence the roadmap that how we are going to prove it. Just initially, let's construct a roadmap or a logical sequence that how we are thinking to prove this and using this whatever we have in our hand. Okay, so basically this is Picard's approach or Picard's way of proving this theorem. So what he has done here, what have done, that they have constructed a sequence of approximate solutions. Okay, so basically they have constructed a sequence. Basically, let's not get into that approximate solution. Let's see they are constructing a solutions. Okay, I'm not want to go into complexity in that. Let's go step by step. So they are constructing a solution such that this limit of this solution, that means the sequence where this sequence where it is converging, that will be our ultimate solution. So basically they are going to step by step. So what we will do, we will initially construct a sequence whatever we have in our hand, then using those existing conditions and properties, whatever given as a conditions in this theorem, we are going to show that this sequence is convergent. And not only that, where this sequence converges, that function is continuous. And again we are going to show that this function actually satisfy our given equation. That means this function is our solution. Okay, and ultimately we are going to show that this solution is unique. Basically, unique means we are going to take another solution, and we are going to show that these two solutions are not different, they are actually one. So basically we have one solution, that is the limit of this sequence. Okay, and we are going to assume that let's take any other solution, and at the end of the day we are going to show that these two solutions are not different, they are equal. So basically you have unique. You are not able to construct two different solutions. You are taking any solution, and ultimately you are going to show that these two are not different, they are same. So basically you have a unique solution. So this is our roadmap. This is how we are going to show. Now if you want to break it further more to understanding, so why I am doing it, before going to step by step proof, that is mechanical and logical, and we are going to use lots of mathematics here, we need to understand why we are doing it, so that you can make a flow, and if you want you can try on yourself also, could try to prove it by yourself also. So this is the roadmap. So this is how we are going to do. Okay, and you are going to use Weis's approximation theorem. So basically what we are going to, initially we are going to construct a sequence, then it is difficult for us to show that a sequence converges. Okay, so directly not proving that sequence, we are going to construct another series using this sequence, and we see where this sequence will be where this series will be sequence of partial sums for the series. That means the limit of the sequence and the limit of the series will be same. Okay, as we know, if we construct a sequence of partial sums from a given series, then both the limit are same, and if you show the sequence convergence or the series convergence, you can show that the series vice versa. So we are going to use that. We are going to first use a sequence. Our main motive is we are going to sequence in such a way that its limit should be our solution. Okay, then we are going to use this sequence to construct another series. Why? Because it is difficult for us directly prove that this sequence is converge. So we are going to prove that series is converged, and where this sequence is the sequence of partial sums of that series. So both the limit are same. Okay, that's the step on. Then okay, you have a limit point. Now you have a limit function. Now you have to show this function is your solution. So we'll just directly put it in our equation, and so it satisfies. Okay, next we are going to show uniqueness, as we have already discussed. So this is our roadmap. Now let's go through the steps. Okay, so as I have already told you, this is our differential equation initial value problem. Okay, initial value problem because you have a value given at a initial point x0. Okay, this is equation number 1. Okay, now we are, so see, there are small trick we are using in every steps. Okay, I have given you a bigger roadmap, but you will see at the end here small trick we are going to use, small things. Okay, so what you are using here, we are converting this equation into a integral equation. Okay, you don't understand integral equation. If you are not able to understand equation, just forget about this is integral equation, nothing else. You just take integration on both on side with the limit x0 to x. You will get this. We know how to do integrate. Okay, there is no problem with that. If you integrate, what will happen? Yx minus y0. I have just taken y0 in the right hand side. Okay, and if you take integration, this is we are getting. So you can convert this in this, no problem. Is a continuous. Already given f is continuous, we can already. So we will be able to integrate it. So is a continuous solution, the integral equation. Okay, this is called integral equation of this corresponding differential equation. Okay, but if you are not able to understand integral equation, let's forget it. Just see that I have taken integration on both the side, nothing else. Okay, but there is a standard result. Both the solution of this both the equation are same. And if this equation is given, equation 1 is given, you can convert to equation 2, obviously by taking integration. What you need f to be continuous because you are taking integration. That is sufficient condition, not necessary but sufficient. Continuity is sufficient, so we can integrate. And again, if y is differentiable, then you can by just differentiating 2 you can get 1. Okay, so to conversely we can convert it. We are converting it so that because we want to create a sequence, that's why I have taken integrations. Now we can thus say the equation 1 has unique solution on the interval if and only if this equation 2 has unique solution. Okay, that is clear. Let's move. So this is how, as I have already told you, this is how I am constructing a sequence. What is y0? This initial value. Okay. What is y1? The sequence of functions. This is sequence of function. This is y1, y0. So you how I have constructed or Picard's. This is called Picard's method of successive approximation. This is not my thing anyway. So this is how they have constructed it. If you see, they are just using this equation 2. They are just using. You see every step. They are just using this equation and they are changing here, putting the previous approximation in here only. See, this is y0. Now they have put in y0 here. All the things are same here. Now again put y1 here. All the rest are same. This is y2. What will be y1? Says just yn minus 1 here. So this is your sequence. Now you can go on like this. So we are not ending here. It is going like this. So this is a sequence basically. Okay. So may converge to a solution. May converge. Why? May converge because we haven't shown that this sequence of function actually converge. So we are going to show that. Okay. Now, so yn is defined by this. May converge to a solution. So actually we are going to show this sequence is convergent and is limit is actually solution of equation 2. Okay. Now here you may observe that yn is the nth partial sum of the series, as I was saying, but just modifying this sequence, just using this sequence, we have constructed a series such a way that this sequence become series of partial sums of this sequence of partial sums of this series. So basically this sequence is sequence of partial sums of this series. What does it mean? See, the first term of this series is your first term of your sequence. What is the second term of your sequence? The second term of your series is the sum of two terms of your series. Okay, so this is called sequence of partial sum because this sequence has been built by taking partial sums of this series. So what will be the nth term? What will be the nth term of this sequence? First n terms, summation of first n terms. So if you take summation of first terms, all these terms are getting cancelled. You can see y0 get cancelled. So if you take just summation of 2 terms, you will get y1 like this. You can do the rest. If you y1 gets cancelled, y0 gets cancelled. So if you take summation of 3 terms, you will get y2 like this. You will get yn. Okay. Now and thus the convergence of sequence 3 is equivalent. Already this is standard result. This series will converge where this sequence of partial sums where this sequence of partial sum will converge. It's a standard result. Okay, we all know this in BSc from BSc mathematics. You can see this result in sequence of function and series of functions. Okay, equivalent. In order to prove this theorem, we are going to now prove this series is convergent. Okay, this is a smart way of just handling things. Okay, we are just directly not proving this sequence, we are proving this series. Okay, so what are the 3 things now we are going to prove? This series is convergence to a function, and this function yx where this series converges is a continuous solution, second, and this is the only continuous solution. So if we prove these 3, then our proof of the theorem is done. So ultimately the proof of this theorem converted to these 3 things we have to show. So first we are going to show this is convergent, then we show that this limit is our solution of this equation of the given equation, and finally we will show this is unique. Okay, now let's prove these 3 things one by one. We shall now prove the above three statements one by one. But first of all, let us try to produce a positive number is. Now again, we are going to play it smartly. We are going to do some modification, small things, so that it help us to prove this. Okay, so now let me tell you what is the roadmap to proving this convergence of this series. What is the roadmap? So what we are going to do here, we are trying to use Wester's M test. What is Wester's M test? So this series of function, we are going to show this series of function, every term is less than or equal to a constant series. Okay, and standard result of Wester's M test you can see in the series of function. Wester's M test, we can verify that. Okay, what is that? If series of function is bounded by a series of constant matlab real numbers, series of real numbers. Okay, that what is meant bounded means every term of this series of function is bounded by some constant. So every term of this series, we are going to show every term of this series is bounded by some constant, and the result is if that series of constant series is convergent, then this series of function will be convergent uniformly. Okay, and we know if it convergent uniformly, then the solution, if every term is continuous, then obviously the limit will be also continuous. So two things in a single steps, very smartly they have proved it. Okay, so that's why. Now what are, so we are going to show this, we are going to show these terms are bounded by some constants. So if you want to show these terms are bounded, now we are going to use whatever we have in our hand. We have already have this f and del f del y are continuous in a bounded domain. This rectangle domain is bounded, okay, closed bounded domain. And we all know if the function is continuous in a closed bounded domain, then since R is closed, see this is highlighted, R is closed, that is includes its boundary and bounded. So if continuous function is if a function is continuous on a closed domain, then automatically it become bounded. Okay, so this function is bounded and del f del y also bounded. We are going to use it to show them bounded. The terms of the series are bounded. Okay, so without any loss of generality, they are assuming, so let m and m are two constants, so that this is bounded by m and this is bounded by n, and they are already show that they are bounded from the initial conditions. Okay, from the given conditions. Now again we are going to use it. So see smartly what you are doing. You are doing all these things as per this. Here is a difference. Okay, and if you see their definition again, put this, here is this. So ultimately if you take integration common, you will get the difference of this function at y0 comma y1. So this is the back calculation. So first we are going to show this, and we are going to using it. Okay, so now f is obviously f is continuous, and the derivative of f with respect to y exists, that is again continuous. So it satisfies all the conditions of mean value theorem. Okay, so this should be this. Okay, so this by this should be equal to with derivative with respect to. So Lagrangian mean value theorem, we standard result. So there exists some y star between y1 and y2 such that this will happen. This is very standard result of Lagrangian mean value theorem. If a function, if a function is continuous in a closed domain and differentiable in a open domain, then f of y1 or f of x1 minus f of x2 by x1 mod of x1 minus x2 equal to the derivative of that function at some point within the interval x1 comma x2. Okay, so that they have used for y, and x here, x is acting as a, x has no role here, x acts as a constant. Okay, nothing, x has no, so we are just assuming this is a partial. So as we have taken partial derivative, so we are just considering here, we are doing all these things with respect to y. Very standard result. Okay, now again we have already shown this is bounded by n, so just put this, you are getting this. Now we are going to use it. Okay, Now they are smartly playing ace. Here is the ace. We have already seen in the theorem there is some ace. Here is a ace. We are smartly playing. We are taking n is any constant. Now what is n? How all the what are the condition we are going to imposing on n, that we will see later. Now so obviously whatever is your ace, you can obviously n is, you can multiply some real number n and make it less than 1. But it's very easy. Suppose this is less than 1, or you are dividing by 100 or whatever. Okay, so n is your real number. That is the only positive real number. That is the only condition. Okay, so and then rectangular. So n, we are going to trying to find out some m. That's why we are putting this. This is a smart play, nothing else. So ace is given or ace is something. We are just assuming it. So you have already have shown you in the picture domain what is ace, and here is we are taking another integer and multiplying it with ace to make it less than 1. Okay, this multiplication less than, nothing else. So this is the domain of ace and this is the domain of y. So already x minus x0 less than equal to ace, this is the domain. And now how we have created a rectangle R1. This is how we are creating this R1. R1 is defined by this inequality, this and this is content in R, as this is the interior point of R. We can say such that such an ace exists. Okay, well, let's move. Now after choosing ace, we shall now prove the statement 1, 2, 3. So whatever you have done till now, we have just created something so that we can use it to prove the statement on here onwards. Okay, so if you see, this is your series of partial, this is your series. Okay, so it is sufficient to show that this series is convergence, and to achieve this we estimate these terms. So as we have already told you, we are going to use OS M test. So we are going to estimate each term by a constant. Okay, this is the bigger picture after this modification. So this is the new domain where this is already, we have already this interval of h0. Now we have created an interval of y0. So what is y0? From here to here. How we have taken y0? By some modification, mh. So from this figure you can see what is mh. So here is something y0, here is your y0, and this is a y minus mh, this is y plus mh. This is what m is what, del f del y is bounded by m. Already you have assumed that. Okay, this not del f is bounded by m. So that m we have taken. So this is our freedom. So how we are constructing in rectangular domain with around x0 y0. This is your freedom, but it should be contained within R. That is the only restriction. So I have all the freedom to choose h and m's. So basically I am choosing two interval. One is around x0, another is around y0. So that this rectangle domain, I can construct this triangle domain. So okay, so this is the figure. Okay, so here let's take a break, and after that we will show all these proofs, and then we will see some examples. Thank you.
Do you wish to be part of a television studio like this, or any other media system, or already part of any media system, want to enhance a new set of skills? Welcome to School of Journalism and New Media Studies. Here in the School of Journalism and New Media Studies, we are offering program for all set of people to learn and enhance their media skills. The vision of School of Journalism and New Media Studies is to generate a new set of professionals in the area of media and communication studies with understanding about role of media in the national development and global understanding. We offer innovative programs in the field of journalism and mass communication that sets a benchmark of high quality learning and teaching process at the national level. We offer these programs across the country with the help of our regional network as well as study center. Same manner, many of our programs are offered through online mode with a sophisticated learning management system. SOGNMS offers programs from PhD in Journalism and Mass Communication till certificate level. We have Masters in Journalism and Mass Communication. The eligibility is bachelor's degree, and we are introducing this program in 3 languages: Hindi, Tamil and English. Students from national and international students can join either through online mode as well as in the distance mode. We have 4 postgraduate diploma programs, specialized areas in the field of development communication, digital media, electronic media and journalism and mass communication program. And all these 4 programs are available in distance mode. 2 programs are available in online mode, development communication and digital media. And we have specialized certificate program in community radio. Ignou employs various media and communication tools for better teaching and learning process. School of Journalism and New Media Studies utilizes this media system for delivering all our programs. Come and join with us for exploring a new career and enhance your media skills.
Are you a fresh graduate? Do you want to fulfill your educational aspiration by pursuing higher education in various interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary areas like environmental science, environment and occupational health, philosophy, sustainability science, folklore and culture studies? If yes, the School of Interdisciplinary and Transdisciplinary Studies offers various programs like Master's Program, Graduate Program, Postgraduate Diploma, Certificate and Appreciation Program. The school offers 5 Master's Program: Master of Science, Environmental Science. The eligibility criteria for MSc Environmental Science is Graduate in Science, BTech, BE, Agriculture Graduate, Forestry Graduate and Veterinary Graduate.
Namaskar, welcome back to the session. Okay, let's start from where we have left it. Okay, so this is the domain. This is the domain that we have constructed by choosing suitable age and MAs. This age and MAs has been chosen as per our convenience. Okay, the only restriction is that your R1 should not exceed R. It should not go outside of your given region. So within this region I can construct another region as per my convenience. Okay, so that's how this H and MS has been chosen. Obviously M is what? M is dependent on f of x y. So we have already assumed that f of x y is bounded by M. So that's why this type of region has been taken, so that in future we can use it. Okay, so now this is bounded by M as I was talking. Every x, f of x comma y is bounded by M for all x comma y. So obviously this is also bounded by M. So y mod of y1 minus y0 is bounded by mh. Okay. So what is the maximum length? x0 to h. Max. You see the figure. x0 to h. Maximum length what? H. So for any point, what is the distance? Less than h. Maximum x0, how much you can go? You must go maximum h distance in the right, you must go maximum h distance in the left. So what will be the maximum distance for any point in this region from h0? That is h. So any point, if you take any point in this region, that x0 minus h, mod of x0 minus h will be always less than h. That is the definition of this domain. So what that is? So this is constant bounded by M. If you use it, so it will go outside of this integration, and this integration will be obviously x mod of x minus x0, and that is less than h. So this is bounded by mh. So see, this is how I am planning to show. This is my each term of my series is bounded by some constant. Okay, this is the first one. Let's see step by step. Again, y0 minus y2 is, so similarly we can show up to this y3 minus y0 and so on. Now so this is what I have done. I have taken y0, subtracted by y0 from each term from my sequence, and I have shown they are bounded. Now I am going to the nth term of my series. This is my nth term of my series. If you see the series, this is my nth term of my series, and now I am going to show this is bounded, just putting h0 in between them. So I will subtract h0 and add y0, just putting y0 in between them, so that I can use this result. Okay, very smart play. So see, they have just, okay, they have taken alpha maximum of this already. All of them we have shown these are bounded. So they are just doing all this modification. Let's go to the main step. Okay. So this is the term of my series. Okay. So this is there. This is, and again y1 minus y0 we know that is mh, and m is again they have shown this alpha. So they have used all these things. Okay, let's go. We know that a continuous function has a maximum on a closed interval. Since we have already seen the FD continuous function on a closed interval is bounded. So if it is bounded, it has a maximum. Since y1 is a continuous, we can define alpha by this and this. What is y1? Y1 is the second term of my sequence. Okay. So they have shown that y1 minus y0 is maximum this. So they are just going to use it in future. Okay. Our aim is to show this is less than equal to some constant. Now again this point T1, this, and this is using this we have already shown for any 2 point. This is bounded by this by using Lagrangian mean value theorem on F. We have shown this. Okay. Now this is bounded by alpha. So this is less than n alpha. Again this is, so this is again alpha into nh and going on. Okay. So just if you move forward to the sequence to the series for each term, there is just increasing on n and going. So this is how the nth term is less than equal to this. So continuing this way, we find that the nth term of this series, yn minus 1 mod of this thing should be less than equal to this. Okay. Now continue. So what will be our series of constant terms? This is our series of constant source. The first term, that is same, both as we have taken the first term of my given series that we have constructed is was y0. So again we have taken here y0, and we have put we have just used there for each term we have used their boundary value. Okay, we have just shown that each term is bounded by this. So this is our series of constant term. Now we can use OS M test. So if this series is constant, this series is convergent, so by using OS M test we can show our series that we need to. That means the proof of 1 will be completed. That is how they are showing. So series 10, this series obviously you can see this series. We already have assumed n such a way this is less than 1. So obviously this series is going to be convergent. This test convergence by comparison test, hence it is hence this series convergence to a sum which is denoted by yn. So we are assuming this series converging on a term that is yx. Thus yn converges to y. Also, since the graph of each yn lies in R1, the graph of y also has this property. So this completes the proof of statement 1. And West's, as from the statement of West's M test, we know this is not just convergent, it is convergent uniformly. And since uniform convergence is there, so if each term of your series of function is continuous, then your limit will also be continuous. Okay. So from there we can calculate y is continuous also. That is what they have also said. So next, to prove statement 2, from the proof of 1, it is clear that not only yn converges to yn converges to y in the interval, but also this convergence is uniform. Since yn is each yn is you can see the definition of yn, it is continuous. So just let me show you. What is our definition of y? N, this is our yn. So f is continuous, you are taking integration, so obviously after integration it will also become constant. This is just constant, so each yn is continuous. And what is your this? You are just difference up to continuous function, so again it is continuous. Okay, so each term of the series is continuous, so obviously the limit will be also continuous as the convergence is uniform. Okay. Okay, let's move forward. So statement of 1 is complete, that we have shown that series is convergent. That is our first part of this proof. Statement 2, to prove statement 2, we have shown that y is continuous. Okay, as it is uniformly convergent, so and each term is continuous, so the y is also continuous. Now we are going to show that this satisfy the equation 2, that is the equivalent equation of our given equation. So just taking integration on both the side of the given equation, we have constructed equation 2, if you can remember. So we will just show that this y satisfy our equation. So obviously it will be a solution. This is our aim to show here. Okay. So yx minus y0 and this. So how to show that? Just to prove that their difference is 0. This is what was your equation, y equal to y0 plus this. Okay. So I am showing this satisfy. So y satisfy this equation. This is our aim. So to prove y is actually solution of equation 1, we must show that this equal to 0. Okay. From this relation, we know that this is our definition of yn, nothing else. If you see, this is a definition of yn. They have taken y0 and this in the left hand side, nothing else. Okay. So now take limit on it. If you take limit, so this is this. If you see if sum, so just subtracting left hand side. They have subtracted this left hand side of 12 from 11, and they have got it. Then they will take limit. Okay. The modification by taking modulus on both sides, we obtain this. Since the graph of y lies in y1 and hence r is using the relation, we must have this. So just simple calculation. This is the simple calculation after subtraction. They have taken modulus. This is we can write this, and then after subtraction they have taken modulus. So mod of a plus b less than or equal to mod a plus mod b. So this is happening. And then this is less than or equal to NAs, we have already seen, and this is max of this. So this term can be approximated by this. Okay, very simple. By what? By f, or already shown that by using Lagrangian theorem. Okay, mean value theorem on f. This difference is f of this difference. So there is 2-3 steps done in a single time. you can verify it, okay, very simply, just using Lagrangian theorem. I have already shown Lagrangian theorem for f, we are just using those result here, okay. So this difference will be less than equal to n into mod of yn minus 1 minus mod of yn minus 1 minus y, and so this will happen, okay. So the uniform convergence of yn to y implies that the right hand side of the inequality 13 can be made as small as we place by taking large in large theorem. So again, so if you take n, so if you take limit, this n will go close to y, because y is the limit of yn, okay. So the right hand time, all this again, this yn minus 1 also will go to y. So the right hand time will, the right hand side will vanish, will go to as close as 0. So obviously the left hand side should be equal to 0. That is the conclusion we can make here. The uniform convergence of yn to y implies the right hand side of the inequality can made as small as we can place by taking n large enough. The left hand side of the inequality must therefore be equal to 0, and this completes the proof of statement 2. And statement 3, they have assumed that let y bar is another solution. Then they will show that if y bar is a solution, y bar have to lie in within R1. Otherwise, it will be a contradiction. So what we are assuming y1 does not leave R1 for this whole interval x0 to x0 plus h and x0 minus h. So x0 minus h to x0 plus h. In the whole region or domain of x0, y1 should not leave the y bar is another solution. I am assuming, as I have already discussed the roadmap that we have taken, we will assume that y bar is another solution, and ultimately we will show that y bar and y are equal. This is what we are going to show, okay. So first assumption is it cannot live. If it live, okay, if possible let live, it's live at x0 point. So after x0 it is leaving R1, it is going outside of this region of y at the point x0. x0 is the last point. After this point, all the value of y bar are going outside. All the value of y are going outside of this region. It actually we are going to show this cannot happen. If this happen, we are going to see the constant. Simple. X0 be such that, so this is our assumption, x0 be such that this is x0 within the region, but y bar is equal to mh, and obviously after this point it is leaving mh, okay. So from this we can just divide both sides. This is equal to m. So y bar x1 minus y0, but just they have divided both sides of this by x1 minus x0, okay. Now this is obvious, this is less than h, so in the denominator it is h is bigger, so the whole thing will be less. So this is less than mh by h. So we are showing this thing, this ratio is greater than m, okay. Simple calculation just by dividing both sides by this, okay. But by mean value theorem you can see this denominator is less than m. This is simple mean value theorem, Lagrangian mean value theorem, basically y bar, obviously y is have to be solution, so it is continuous and is derivative, all these things that we have assumed satisfy f, okay. So all these things will be here also. Solution and satisfying differential equation, so have to be differential, so differentiable, it have to be differentiable, so differentiable and continuous, so we can apply mean value theorem. So by mean value theorem, so this is two contradictory thing. Here we are showing this is greater than m, here we are showing this is less than equal to m, the same thing, okay, this same ratio, so contradiction, so it cannot leave R1. So first is same. Second, we are going to just use the previous inequalities, and we are going to show these two things are same. That means these two things are less than equal to this. So this if you just subtract them, you will get this. Just put, it's a solution, so it's to satisfy the equation, they put just and just take in subtraction both sides. So y bar minus y equal to this, very simple, just put y bar and y in the equation and take the subtraction. y0 get cancelled, you will get this, okay. Now this is we have already assumed in as equation 8 we have already assumed after applying mean value theorem on f. Okay, so using this right hand side is less than equal to this. Okay, now maximum of this is less than equal to maximum of this. This implies this is equal to 0. How? Okay, so maximum of this is less than equal to this for all the values. So maximum of this will be also less than equal to this, right? So this is what they have shown. Maximum of this is less than equal to this. Now these are same. These are same. If these are same, if we are able to cancel it, what will happen? NAs will be greater than 1. NA will be greater than, but our assumption was what? NAs is less than 1. Contradiction. So if you cancel it, if you are able to cancel it, otherwise this will be greater than 1. So contradiction. So you cannot cancel it. So how? Only one situation you are not able to cancel it if it is 0. So otherwise we will have contradiction. So that's how we have shown uniqueness of this Picard's approximation, Picard's uniqueness and existence theorem. So this is unique. So at the end of the day, we are showing y bar and y are both the same as per our roadmap. Okay, so this completes the proof. Now let's see some remarks. Okay, as I was discussing, the Picard's theorem is sufficient but not necessary. If it is not necessary, so there is obviously a scope for improvement to make it necessary, right? So is there any lighter condition which we can put so that then also solution will exist? Obviously, some functions are escaping our conditions. By escaping also they are giving unique and exist solutions. Okay, solution exists and giving a unique solution also, as these conditions are not necessary. Okay, so what we can do? So first remark, Picard's theorem can be strengthened. Obviously there is a scope for modification, as I have already told, as it is not necessary, so obviously there is a scope for modification. So Picard's theorem can be strengthened in various ways by weakening its hypothesis. For example, our assumption that del f del y is continuous. Okay, instead of taking this, you can take Lipschitz condition. Okay, so all these things I have discussed here on R. So then prove inequalities. So but in the proof you will see actually we have used it to create mean value theorem. We have used it to use mean value theorem on f. That means Lagrangian mean value theorem, and that ultimately gives you what? That ultimately gives you a Lipschitz condition. That ultimately. So basically we have used this in the proof. If you see the proof carefully, we have used this. We didn't use this condition directly. We have used this condition to make this conclusion, but this conclusion is lighter than this condition. Okay, that means del f del y implies this condition, but this condition is not necessary to satisfy. Okay, so to be a partial derivative with respect to, so this is lighter condition. So in simple, this condition is lighter. We are going to show this with example. So this condition is called Lipschitz condition. Lipschitz condition is lighter condition than the derivative have to be continuous. The derivative of f with respect to y have to be continuous. This was our condition. So we can drop this condition and we can add this condition to make our make our theorem more better by lightening your conditions. You are losing some conditions. Then also you can use it. That then also it will be sufficient. Okay. So then it will include more functions. So it called Lipschitz conditions. Okay, let's see. If we drop Lipschitz condition, now what will happen if we drop Lipschitz condition and assume only this is continuous? So if we take only f of xy is continuous, then also solution will exist, but uniqueness will not be guaranteed. Okay, this result is known as Peano's theorem. Okay, after the name Italian logician and mathematician Peano. But this is only but with this only this assumption of solution with the existence theorem guaranteed but not unique. Okay, so what will happen? Our theorem have two conditions, that is f have to be continuous and del f del y also have to be continuous. Now if you drop the second condition, then also the solution will exist, but there is no guarantee of uniqueness. Okay. Now as I was discussing, if you see this example, y dash equal to 3, 2 by 3 with this, okay, in this rectangle, then this is a continuous on this, and in this are two different solutions. So as I was discussing, this doesn't satisfy ellipsis condition, you can verify it. Okay, then you have two different solutions. Here this is a continuous on R also, this is and this. So y1 equal to xq and y2 equal to x0 are two different solutions of this problem, valid for all x. Okay, this is your, so here f of xy is this 3, y 2 by 3. But that means this equation has two different solutions, not unique. Because why? Because this function doesn't satisfy ellipsis condition. Okay, so it is not guaranteed unique solution if you drop this. But sometime it happen also, the ellipsis condition doesn't satisfy, but you are getting unique solution, as this is not necessary sufficient. Okay, so this is what we have shown, this function is not satisfying ellipsis conditions. Okay, remark 3, local existence and uniqueness theorem, because it's guaranteed the local unique solution on this interval. Okay, if you take this type of linear equation, you know already linear equation. Okay, then px and qx are continuous is enough. Not only this first order, any nth order linear, if you take any nth order linear differential also, then also only the coefficient, if the coefficients are, since here we are talking only first order, that's why I have taken the example of first order only. If you take this type of equation, then the ellipsis condition will be automatically satisfied. Px and qx are continuous, then the ellipsis condition will be automatically satisfied. So there is no need of imposing second condition, that which is automatically satisfied, or verifying it. Okay, so the only condition we need, px and qx are continuous on this interval. Okay, and we have shown f of xy satisfy ellipsis condition automatically. Okay, doesn't need to write it separately, only conditions. And here is another example. If some function satisfy ellipsis condition, that doesn't imply you have to be differentiable with respect to y. That means ellipsis condition is lighter than del f del y is continuous. Okay, so here we have shown, if you take f of xy equal to x square mod a, obviously it will satisfy ellipsis condition, since there is modulus, so what is obviously it will not be differentiable at the point 0. Okay, so it failed to exist del f del y, but it satisfies ellipsis condition. So if you take the lighter condition, ellipsis condition, instead of taking Picard's conditions for del f del y have to be continuous, then your sufficient condition become lighter. Okay, and here they have shown, okay, this satisfies ellipsis condition, but the derivative doesn't exist. And here we have some other examples, but here we are going to stop it. Okay, so this is what we have done. We have seen the statement of Picard's existence and uniqueness theorem, and then we have discussed the proof step by step, and then we have seen how we can improve the conditions, and we have also seen the examples, and we have, most importantly, we have seen this is necessary but not, sorry, this is sufficient but not necessary. Okay, thank you. Namaskar.
We wear clothes on a daily basis, but have we ever wondered, where do our clothes come from? Who makes our clothing? And who are the people and the process responsible for the whole manufacturing of our clothing? If you want to know more about this, Indira Gandhi National Open University from the School of Continuing Education has launched a program which is certificate in apparel merchandising. There are many benefits after doing this program. You can become a designer in various fields. It can be fashion designer, apparel designer, costume designer, or even a textile designer. One can also work as a fashion consultant. Research and development is another field which one can take up after doing this certificate course. Going into academics is another perk after doing this program. Getting into fashion houses or fashion studios as an intern is also a very good option post doing the certificate in apparel merchandising. The basic eligibility of the program is 10+2. The duration of the program is 6 months to 2 years. The program is also available for both the admission cycles, which is July and January. The exams are conducted. So what are you waiting for?
Namaskar and a very warm welcome to all the viewers and learners who are watching us live in today's Gyan Darshan session. I am Dr. Geetika S. Johry, faculty at School of Vocational Education and Training. Learners, our today's session is an introduction to the Office Procedures course, which is BSSI 015 under the Diploma in Modern Office Practice program. So let's begin today's session by introducing you to the course Office Procedures, course code BSSI 015. So learners, the course on Office Procedures, it is the last course under the Diploma in Modern Office Practice program. The course has been divided into 2 blocks, Block 1 and Block 2. The course majorly deals with the steps in which the activities to be performed in the office are taking place in a sequential manner. Learners, we know that every organization, they need to follow certain set procedures which will help in reducing the costs of operations, which will allow effective training of new staff and personnel. It will help to enhance the performance of the old staff, facilitate smooth flow of work in the office between superior, subordinates, departments, and so on. So we can say that the yardstick to measure the efficiency of any organization, it largely depends on the processes and the procedures and the ability of its employees to follow them in order to achieve the object of the business with speed, quality, following the procedures prescribed for the purpose. So learners, let's begin with Block 1. I'm going to introduce you with Block 1 now. We know that modern business is complex. Business organizations, they are undergoing rapid changes in all spheres of their activities. The markets are expanding, they're extending, the techniques of manufacturing goods are changing, and thus we can see it is becoming very necessary that the techniques of management should meet these changing conditions. The management techniques, they have to work with complex machines like sophisticated modern day computers. Now, the block 1, we will give you the units, how this block has been, detailed out. Unit 1 talks about modern office. Unit 2 talks about modern office management. Unit 3 discusses office accommodation and environment. And Unit 4 talks about record management. So let's begin with Unit 1, which is modern office. Now, in our daily life, learners, we see that you cannot think of completing your routine work without visiting any kind of office, whether you are visiting a municipal office, whether you're visiting transport office, an electricity office, a post office, any government office, or in fact you can say a bank. So for all that matter, you have to visit an office. So you may categorize an office to be efficient if the purpose for your visit has been achieved with minimal possible time. But if you see that the time taken by a particular office is long, then you may definitely form a very negative opinion about the same. So here when we talk about Unit 1 under Block 1, you will be able to learn the meaning and concept of modern office, the changing scenario of office, what are the functions of modern office. When we talk about functions of modern office, we talk about the fundamental or the principal functions and the administrative as well as the management functions. Then here in this unit, we will also be discussing about the importance of office, what are the different kind of services which are offered in the office. Departmentation of office is another very important thing which you will learn in this particular unit. When we talk about departmentation, we see there are different departments in an office premises. We have a cash department, we have a legal department, a filing department, there is mailing department, there is a communication department, there is duplicating department, stationery department, maintenance department, security department. But when we are talking about so many departments, we see that the size of the office or the organization is large. Means where the organization or the government setup is large, you can see that the departmentation is in this way. But because if the office is small or if it is a medium-sized office, then you need not require such so many departments. But still, in order to cater to the different functions which are required to be done in the office, you still are required to have the following departments, which are the purchase departments, the production department, you have the marketing department, you have the accounts department, you have the personal department. So any other kind of an office, whether it is a medium office or a small office setup, at least these are the central departments which you will find in all office environment. Now learners, let us move on to Unit 2 under Block 1, which is Modern Office Management. Now, we have seen that a business organization is faced with ever-changing needs and conditions. We find that the organizations are undergoing rapid changes in all spheres of their activities. Office management is necessarily a process which is used by the management to carry out their tasks in the office. Management is the task of unifying the efforts efficiently to achieve the well-defined objectives. The management in a business enterprise, we can say we have compared it to a brain of the human body doing various functions. So the brain gives the direction and the purpose to a mass of matter. So the process of management is common to all activities of business organization. Now, in the office, activities are carried out, by a certain group of people. So we can say that the office management can be defined as the task of planning, organizing, guiding, directing, coordinating, and motivating the efforts of all the people who are working towards a specific objective in the office, which are in conformity with all the objectives of the organization. So discussing about this unit, you will be able to learn what is office management, what are the role of the office manager. When we talk about the role of the office manager, we take into consideration the functions of the office manager, the status of the office manager, the qualifications of the office manager, as well as the training of the office manager, which is required to undertake time and again. Apart from that, here in this unit, you will also learn about office organization. Then, there are certain other principles which you will learn in this particular unit, which we call as the principles of organization, which are the principle of objective. When we talk about the principle of objective, learners, we mean that, the clear definition of the objectives, they need to be laid down so that the purpose or the scope for which the office setup or the organization is set up has been achieved. Second is principle of division of labor. This means that the tasks or the different jobs have to be divided, amongst the employees. It is not that, there has to be uniformity. If there is one person, we should see that the person is not overburdened or, overexerted with a particular kind of a task. So division of labor as per the specialized needs or the capabilities of each of the worker has to be demarcated. So in this way, the tasks and the jobs have to be given to the particular person according to his caliber. Then the next is principle of unity of function, which means that all the people who are working in the organization have to work in harmony with each other so that they're able to attain the objectives of the organization. Then we talk about principle of simplicity, which means that, the organizational setup, should be very simple. It should not be very complex that people are finding it difficult, to work in that kind of an environment. Whatever procedures have been laid down have to be, spelled out in a very simple and lucid language so that, the employees, who are working are able to understand. Then we talk about principle of span of control. When we talk about span of control, it means that every supervisor, they should have some limited number of subordinates working under him. We cannot say that one supervisor has at least 10 subordinates working under him, because it will become very difficult for him to look at the tasks which have been assigned to 10 different people. So if a supervisor is he's specializing in a particular task, so all the subordinates who are working under him related to that particular task have to report to him. Similarly, there should be another supervisor who's looking after another task. In that case, the subordinates working under him should be given, they should be reporting to him. Not that one supervisor is managing the, tasks and looking after the responsibilities of all the subordinates. Because if one person is looking after all the, subordinates, then it becomes, there will be a lot of confusion. Then we talk about the principle of parity of authority and responsibility. Each of the person who have been given a task to perform, they should be given the authority and the responsibility to complete that task. It is not that, they should be given some kind of autonomy to finish that task. At the same time, when we talk about the principle of flexibility, the rules which have been laid down, they should be, flexible. They should not be rigid, so that, according to the circumstances, they are able to, make the changes. When we talk about the principle of efficiency or the principle of initiative, this means that whoever is working in the organization, they should be efficient enough to complete the task. They should get the initiative, to do the things. It is not that whoever is the boss, they can give a command, to the subordinates. No, they should be given that kind of, freedom so that they can take some initiative and they can go ahead with the work. Similarly, when we talk about principle of continuity, it means that there should be continuity in the process. The process should not stop because of a person who is not able to complete the task. There should be continuity in the process. Otherwise, the work will not get completed on time. And last but not the least, principle of coordination, which means that whosoever who is working in the organization, they have to have a very good coordination, whether it is among superiors, subordinates, it is among your bosses, between departments. So coordination has to be very good, because if the coordination is not good, then there will be communication gap. Then in this particular unit, you will also be, knowing about the different types of organization. When we talk about different types of organization, we talk about the line organization, we talk about functional organization, then there is line and staff organization, committee organizations. So all these different types of organizations, the details related to them have been clearly given in this material. Then the topics which we are going to cover in this unit are also on authority and responsibility and decentralization of authority. Sometimes what happens that, the boss, has to decentralize some of his authorities to his juniors or to his subordinates in order to get the work done. So all that has been discussed as far as this topic on decentralization of authority is concerned. Now learners, moving on to Unit 3. This talks about office accommodation and environment. Now, the purpose of office management is to get the maximum work done effectively and efficiently. That is, maximum work at minimum cost. This is the objective of every business or every organization, that you have to take the maximum work with minimum cost. So to attain this objective, the office staff must be accommodated in a good working environment. When we talk about good working environment, we mean that the environment should be very congenial, it should be very amicable, there has to be coordination. We should provide them with the modern facilities, as far as, the equipments are required in terms of computers or, printers, photocopier machine, internet, etc. Because if one of the items or one of the equipments is missing, it might hamper the work of the person who is doing the task. Then, we see that a good accommodation and well-maintained office equipment should be supplemented by proper working conditions to facilitate the working of office employees. This we have already discussed. Now, it is a very well-acknowledged fact that the employees spend more than we can say 1/3 of their lives in the office. Therefore, it is very important that they are provided with suitable facilities so that, they can maintain their health, as well as they should have the motivation and zeal to work in the office environment. Then when we talk about office accommodation, the environment designed should be designed carefully so that, it serves as a tool for achieving the organizational objectives, which is very important when we see from the human perspective. So when you're going to go through this unit, you will be learning about the various dimensions and the factors which are important, a part of the office management. So here, we will be discussing about the principles of office location. When we talk about principles of office location, we talk about the surroundings of the office, whether your office is in the rural area or a semi-urban area or in the urban area. What are the security setup as far as the office is concerned, the transportation facility, the parking facility, all has to be taken into consideration when you are thinking of, opening an office. Then there is the next which we need to take into consideration is principles of selecting an office building. So when we talk about office building, we need to see that, whether we are thinking of opening an office in a big building or whether the building has to be small. Basically seeing the requirement of the number of staff or the number of workers who are going to work in the organization. So when we see factories or industries, we see that, they have to be located, in a place, where, there is a lot of space. But when we are talking about, commercial offices, we see that, in urban areas, the space is limited. So at least, the important or the central departments can be opened in those particular areas, and the rest can be, taken to the semi-urban or rural areas. So this is another very important thing where the office layout and the types, has to be then another thing when what I'm discussing is the office layout and the types and the principles, which means that the location of the office rooms, the flow of work. So there is flow of work is not hampered. Then the staff requirement, it is not that your office has a capacity of only 100 people and you're trying to fit in more than 100 people. So then, it becomes very congested, and the people working in the organization, they are not able to have that proper flow of work. Then we also need to discuss about the impact of surroundings and the internal environment of the office. When we talk about this, we need to see that the office is airy, there is proper lighting in the office, the color schemes which are used in the office environment is very subtle, very good, so that, at least you can see that they look very broad. The office looks very big and broad if you use subtle colors. If you use dark colors, it doesn't get a very good impact. Then sanitation and cleanliness again is a very important thing which one needs to take into consideration when you're opening any office. Then the rules for selecting the office furniture. What kind of furniture is required in the office? When we talk about furniture, we need to see the tables. We talk about the chairs, what should be the height of the chairs, whether you require a computer table or not, the almiras, the cabinets. So all kind of office furnitures or the cabinets which are required in the office environment has to be selected very meticulously so that, it doesn't, there is no clutter in the office. It is not too congested. Then apart from that, the other kind of facilities which should be provided to the office employees are in terms of a cafeteria, the library, as well as the medical facilities. So now learners, let us move on to Unit 4 under Block 1, which talks about record management. Now, we all know that dealing with information and record is a very significant function of every office. Records are significant in all types of organizations or office environment. Any information which is received in or sent out of the organization, it automatically forms a record. So during the functioning of an organization, many documents are generated in its office. Whether all of them form a record, what procedures should be adopted to have a systematic procedure of record management, all has been discussed in this unit on record management. So talking about this unit on record management, here, learners, you will be able to learn the aspects related to the following topics. Firstly, you will know what is a record. As we just mentioned, that it is any information generated or received by an organization that needs to be maintained to meet the financial, legal, historical, or administrative needs of the organization is termed as a record. See, when we say that we are talking about record, it doesn't mean that, the record is just your circulation or your notifications or your notes, which you are, the interdepartment notes, which is, being, sent to another department and so on. But there are certain very essential records which can be used, for your legal purposes or for your financial purposes, or as a matter of fact for historical or any administrative purpose. So records means, they mean a lot of importance for an office environment. Then, as I discussed, that importance of record will be discussed in this unit. Then you also need to understand the concept of filing. Now, when we're talking about record, we need to understand the concept of filing, because if you're maintaining the records, then filing of the records also has to take place. So how this filing has to be done has also been discussed in this particular unit. When we talk about filing, you need to know what are the different kind of filing methods which you can adopt, whether it is your flat or horizontal filing, it is your vertical filing, whether you are using the alphabetical system of filing, you are using the numerical system of filing, or you are using e-filing. So there are different methods of filing which can be adopted by the organization as per their requirement. So now when we are talking about filing, we also need to understand the indexing part of it, because it is again a very important part and parcel of the filing system. Again, what are the different methods of indexing, which can be a page index or a card index, has also been discussed in this particular unit. So learners, we have completed block 1 of the course on office procedures, wherein we discussed about what is modern office, what is modern office management. Then we discussed about the record management. And of course, we also discussed about the office, the office environment and so on. Now let us move on to block 2. Now in block 2 of this course, you will be discussing about the aspects of handling mails, the different type of office forms and stationery, and office equipments and machines. So let's begin with unit 1 under block 2, which is handling mails. Handling of mail, whether it is inward mail or outward mail, is another very important function of an office in the office. Since the course, that is the Diploma in Modern Office Practice program, talks about the role of the secretary, because here this entire course is for the secretaries who are working in the organization. So the private secretary should have sound knowledge regarding the procedure of handling mails to be followed in the organization. Efficient and effective handling of mail helps a company to boost its business and have a better image of the organization. Definitely, if you're able to handle your mails effectively and efficiently, it will definitely boost the image of the reputation of the company. But if you see on the other hand, if you are mishandling the mails, if they are not handled efficiently or effectively, then definitely it will cause delays and loss of business. So after completing this unit, learners, you will basically get to know what is a mail. When we talk about mail, it is a form of a written communication which is sent out or received in the organization through some agency. We will be discussing in this unit about the different types of mail. Then here we will also be discussing about the types of handling of mail, how you're handling the mail, whether you're handling the mails electronically or in the physical format. Then what is the procedure of handling the incoming and outgoing mails? What are the different types of postal services which are being there as far as the office setup is concerned, the importance of speed post. When we're talking about government offices, we really need to tell them that what the speed post is and how you can, dispatch anything related to the speed post. Then also describe the courier post and courier services. So all these aspects, have been discussed in this particular unit. And also I want to tell you, learners, at this point of time that our self-learning material, we've been talking about indexing, we have been talking about filing, we have been talking about different equipments, machines, with very good pictures and illustrations, we have explained to you each and every aspect related to it. So you will really find, enjoy going through this course on office procedures, because it is just not the subjective knowledge, but we have illustrated, we have given you a lot of pictures related to all these things which you have never seen. Now learners, let us move on to Unit 2, which talks about office forms and stationery. Learners, we have seen in that whether you want to buy a flat or you want to buy a car, you want to open or operate a bank account, you want to enter into any kind of a legal contract, you want to take admission in any school or any college, or you want to file income tax returns, be a part of a lucky draw, or get a passport, apply for a job or any kind of a loan, forms are present everywhere. So forms, we can say they have become an indispensable way of securing the desired essential information for efficiently carrying out business dealings. In forms, one needs to fill up only the precise information with limited number of words. Why the precise information and with limited number of words? It will be beneficial both for the user of the form as well as the user of information, because if the information which is given in the form is precise and to the point, it will save a lot of time and energy. So that is why, it is not that a form should be very long, that you're filling up different points and points which are of no use. So whenever you are even designing a form, you need to keep certain points into consideration, that whatever information, whatever precise information is required, as far as that particular form is required, just design it in that way. Not that you are asking just irrelevant information, which is a lot of wastage of time, as far as both time and energy gets wasted in that. We can see that the forms are widely used in the office environment in recording and communicating the information. We can say basically they are the basic tools of office operations. So in an office, be it purchase of raw materials or completion of tax formalities, finalization of rent agreements, application of public issues, everything is done with the help of forms. Even when we are talking about feedback, wherever you're going, whether you're going to a hospital, whether you're going to a restaurant, you can see that people are filling up the feedback form, so that they can improvise on their, working. Even when we're talking about leave application, requirement for advance from your provident fund, even if you're filling the job appraisal, everywhere we can see that the form is required. Every form is designed, in the office in the unique nature, and it is designed to receive the restricted and exclusive information. It is not that the form which is required in one organization, the same kind of a form is required in another organization. Except for government organizations where we can see, there is uniformity as far as the forms are concerned. But mostly when we talk about other organizations, it depends on the organization to organization what kind of information they want to, get from the person who is filling up the form. So again, it will depend on the organization that what information they are requiring, so that, it can be, they can process it further. Then when we are talking about forms, now we have to talk about stationery. Management of stationery in an office, again, is a very important area which is to be looked after by the secretary or the office manager. Though we have seen that many organizations are going in for a paperless office environment, which is becoming a reality, no office can 100% function smoothly without the use of stationery and office supplies. At least somewhere or the other, some stationery is required. So we can say that it is again a very important duty of the secretary or an office manager to ensure uninterrupted flow of stationery items, so that they are able to procure the material which are economical with quality and service. So after completing this unit, learners, you will be able to understand the meaning and significance of the different kind of office forms. You will be able to understand what are the benefits of using form, what are the different types of forms. You will be able to describe the technologies which are used with enterprise forms automation. You will also be able to develop an effective stock control system. Then when we are talking about introducing new forms, you will get to know how to design the office forms. Then, here in this unit, you will also be getting to know the objectives of automated stock control system, explain the principles for better utilization and management of stationary items, and devise plans regarding purchase of machinery and its optimum use. Now, learners, coming to the last unit under block 3, which is office equipments and machines. Now, an office, now attends to clients from all parts of the globe. It is not that, we are only having clients, in the maybe in the own country, or just addressing it in the physical mode, but here we are attending to clients in all parts of the globe. So we have to keep pace with the technological developments which are taking place in the office operations. Today, when we talk about modern office, we have seen that most of the work is mechanized. The routine activities are also, we are trying to mechanize. Machines and equipments have become an integral part of a modern office. So besides performing the routine office functions, some machines are also used for safety and security of office operations and data. There are various equipments like computer, photocopier, binding machines, lamination machines, franking machines, CCTV machines, which have become a necessity and survival for any organization. So after completing this unit, learners, you will be able to understand what is the meaning of office mechanization, which means use of machines and equipments in office. Then it is defined as replacement of manual labor by machine operations. With office mechanization, paperwork in office has reduced to a considerable extent, and a paperless office has become a reality. You will also know about office equipments and machines in detail, understand the safety and security of data with the help of data warehousing and data encryption. So I hope, learners, your today's session has been very useful, wherein we have discussed about the course office procedures under the Diploma in Modern Office Practice program. In case you have any doubts, you can please write to us at the following email address, which is dmopsovet@ignou.ac.in. Thank you and namaskar.
A warm welcome to Ignou. If you are creative, if you can write well, and if you can visualize, mass communication is the correct career option for you. I am going to talk about postgraduate diploma in journalism and mass communication, which is also the first year of MA program in journalism and mass communication. So any learner who has done a postgraduate diploma in journalism and mass communication is eligible to take admission straight away into the second year of our master's program in journalism and mass communication. Duration to complete this program is minimum 1 year, and because we have this inherent flexibility in distance education system, you can take up to 3 years to complete this program. The minimum eligibility criteria for taking admission in this program is bachelor's in any discipline. To give you a glimpse of what are the various components of this program, we begin with telling you what mass communication is, what are the various
Dear viewer, today we'll discuss about the municipal finance. As you know that Ignou School of Extension and Development Studies has launched a postgraduate diploma in urban planning and development since 2014, and in 2020 we have introduced MA in urban studies, and the postgraduate diploma, all the courses of postgraduate diploma in urban planning and development are the first year courses of urban studies, MA in urban studies. So today in one of the course, MEDS 043, we have a topic on municipal finance. As you know that India and most of the world has decentralized form of government. We have the center, the central government, we have the state government, and below it is the municipal government or local self-government. In India, we have two separate form of urban local bodies, one for the rural areas, another for the urban areas. For rural areas, we have the Panchayati Raj institutions, and for the urban areas, we have urban local bodies. They are municipal corporation, municipal council, and Nagar Panchayats. So the finance, as far as functioning of the municipal bodies or urban local bodies, finance is very key, because without finance it is very difficult to conduct the activities of the municipal corporation and municipal council. So in most of the Kautilya has also stated that municipal finance, the financing is very important. It is the lifeblood of all activities. And Hicks also says the local bodies are to play any significant role in economic and social development. They must clearly have access to adequate finance. So finance is very, very important, and regular finance to the municipal corporation and the municipality, municipal corporation, and Nagar Panchayats will strengthen the hand of the municipal administration, because ultimately the municipal administration, in order to conduct various type of developmental activities, they require finance. So finance is smooth availability of the finance is critical for the better functioning of municipal administration. Second, the too much what is happening that most of the municipal urban local bodies, whether it is municipal corporation, municipal council, and Nagar Panchayat, it is mostly municipal council and Nagar Panchayat, they are too much dependent on the financial transfer from the central and the state government. Therefore their autonomy is less. So therefore, in order to financially empower this municipality and municipal Nagar Panchayats, basically the two lower level of second and third level of urban local bodies, the finance is very, very important. And moreover, under the 74th constitutional amendment, there is a provision, and all the urban local bodies, they have been assigned 18 duties and responsibilities, like urban housing, urban alleviation of urban poverty, urban waste management, slum upgradation. These are very 17 duties and responsibilities has been assigned to these urban local bodies. In order to perform these duties and responsibility, urban administration and urban local bodies require finance. So finance is also very important in order to conduct all the activities. And moreover, the urban system contributes near about 63%. The urban areas, they contribute 63% to our GDP. Because 35% of the people, they live in urban areas, but if you see the contribution of the urban areas to the GDP, it is 63%, and it has been estimated that by 2030 the contribution of urban areas to the GDP will increase to 75%. So for the economic growth and development, the financing, smooth financing to the urban local bodies is very, very important. Moreover, the government recently has launched this smart city program, because in order to implement all the activities being specified by the smart city development they also require finance. And moreover, the disaster management. Many of the urban areas, sometimes they face different kind of disaster. Nobody can forget the Surat disaster. Even during time of the rainy season, disaster in, you see, Mumbai and also in Chennai, many cities they face different type of disaster. So management of the disaster also is very important from the point of view of urban financing. Let us see what are the minimum sources of municipal. Why we are called the municipal revenue? Because beside these urban local bodies, state government and the central government also spend for the urban development activities. But here we are focusing the financing of the local self-government, that urban local bodies. The urban local bodies, first they get finance through intergovernmental transfer. It is the major sources of revenue which the urban local bodies they got from the central government and state government. From the central government, the Central Finance Commission, as per the 15th Finance Commission, urban local bodies has been allotted 1.2 lakh crore of rupees during the period 2021 to 2026. So 15th Finance Commission has allocated 1.2 lakh crore to the urban local bodies to be spent. And besides also State Finance Commission, the 74th Constitutional Amendment has a provision, has made the provision, all the state has to formulate a State Finance Commission. And the State Finance Commission look after the financing health of the urban local bodies. So State Finance Finance Commission, they also give funds to the central government. So the major source of it has been estimated that 30 to 35% of the total revenue which the urban local bodies collect, they are from their own sources, through taxes, through fees, but rest 65% they got from the center and state government. So mostly the urban local bodies, primarily the municipality and municipal corporation, and mostly the third and fourth tier of urban local bodies, those who are less than 1 lakh population and 50,000 population, they mostly depend on the intergovernmental transfer, that transfer of money from the center and state government. And besides that, urban local bodies also have their own taxes. The property tax is the major source of income to the urban local, to the municipal corporation and municipality. Besides, they also have the housing tax, then they impose motor vehicle tax, they impose toll tax. So different type of taxes they impose, and they get money from different type of. The major tax is the property tax, and second they also charge fees also, hospital fee, entertainment fee, advertisement fee. So these are different sources of fees which the urban local bodies they impose to get the revenue. The fourth sources of revenue to the urban local bodies is municipal bond. Many a time, in order to construct urban infrastructure only, it is the municipal bond are being sold for the construction of the urban infrastructure, so for flyover in different urban metro, they can raise the of course state, and but in order to in the municipal areas, if they want some infrastructure development, many of the municipal corporation also raise bond, municipal bond to raise revenue, and municipal corporation of Pune and municipal corporation of Ahmedabad, they have also the municipal bond system. Even Bangalore, municipal corporation of Bangalore, they have raised fund through municipal bonds. Besides that, also they have the sources of borrowings and loans. They can take loan from the central and state government, and from the different type, from also non-banking and financial institutions, they can take loan from the LIC, GIC, then from the different type of sources they can take the loan, and also developmental assistance. Many a time the international agency like World Bank, Asian Development Bank, they also assist the municipal corporation, and many a time corporate sector also give developmental assistance. Suppose many of the corporate bodies, they can also finance for the opening of the hospital, opening of the school and colleges under the municipality, and many a kind of welfare activity they also give the fund. And the municipal corporation also, the urban local body, they can also have their municipal development fund. They can create a fund so that whenever there is a requirement, they can use those funds for their developmental activities. And if you see, whenever we call the urban finances, urban finance is not for the culmination of urban revenue and urban expenditure. I just discussed about what are different sources of urban revenue, and let us discuss something about municipal expenditure. You see, the major expenditure with the municipal corporation, as one of the reports says, that near about 75% of the total expenditure they do in paying the salary and pension and head of the employees, and rest they spend on the capital expenditure. So, and the creation of the hospital, then schools, then road, energy, water supply, garden and open space, maintenance of the garden and open space, urban heritage site, and then other infrastructure, creation and maintenance of water bodies. So these are the various sources, these are the various type of expenditures which the urban local bodies they make particularly, and most of their expenditure to be seen are in the head of the paying the salary and other kind of salary and pension. Therefore, they have to see that how much money they have to spend for the capital expenditure, creation of the infrastructure, creation good road facilities, traffic management, electricity supply, waste management. They have to see that how much balance they have to maintain in order to have a judicious urban expenditure system. So if you see that how they will manage the municipal finance system, the municipal finance system management include 4-5 steps. First is budgeting. Every municipal urban local bodies, be they municipal corporation, municipal council or municipal Nagar Panchayat, they have to prepare the budget. The budgeting is very, very important. So they have to see how much they have to spend in different areas, what is their main sources of revenue. So that is very, very, budgeting is very, very important. The feasibility, predictability, prioritization of resources are the main areas of budgeting. Then after budgeting, they have to accounting. They have to keep the account to total account income and expenditure of the municipality. And most of the municipality has been suggested that they should go for the double entry accounting system. Every accounting system day to day has to be entered in the cash book and also the ledger book, so that there is a tally every day. There is tally, and there is no question of any kind of financial irregularities or financial kind of mismanagement. So management includes the budgeting, then accounting, and then auditing, because there are two types of auditing that has been mostly such. One is financial auditing. Financial auditing done through internal auditing and also through external auditing, the CAG, and they are done by the internal municipal administration by themselves. And besides, there is social auditing, because many a time the developmental activities are for the benefits of the people. So the Ward Sabha has to be asked whether these kind of activities has been conducted by the municipality or not. So auditing, the social auditing is very, very important, because most of the time social auditing has not been given due emphasis in the auditing system. So beside the financial auditing, whether the money that has been given to the municipal corporation, that has been, or municipal council or Nagar Panchayat, that has been properly spent or not. So auditing, social auditing is equally important as that of the financial auditing. Then financial reporting. Every municipal, urban, local bodies, be they municipal corporation, municipal council or Nagar Panchayat, has to prepare the financial reporting, because they have to prepare annual report of their income and expenditure, and so that it will be put to the public. General people has to, there must be governance, urban governance, they should put to there must be accountability, there must be, they should follow all the rules and regulations, the way they have to spend, how the money they have get, everything they should be put before the public, so that general public, those who are in the municipal corporation and municipal council, the people, they can see that reporting, and so consolidated information has to be given to all the stakeholders, be the government or the fund, if they have received the fund from the international agency or bilateral World Bank or ADP, if they have received fund from the corporate agency, and how much they have received from the state government, from their own sources of revenue, from the central government. Every accounting they have to prepare a report, how much they have spent from which head, and from which they have to give the accounting, so that state government, central government and developmental agencies, those who have funded to them, and also the tax which people, ultimately people are paying the tax, property tax, house tax, vehicle charge, vehicle fee, toll tax, the people pay the tax. They should know how much money has been spent for the welfare activities like education, health, sanitation, drinking water, electricity. They have to see, because people also pay the electricity fee, so they have the right to know. So this is financial reporting. These are the various steps that has to be followed for the financial management of the urban local bodies. So the main problem is that the municipal corporation, most of the urban local bodies, particularly the municipal council and Nagar Panchayats, they have the very pivotity of fund, because mostly the 80 to 90% of their fund, they depends on the intergovernmental transfer. Mostly the small municipalities or Nagar Panchayats, they depend on the central and state government transfer. They don't have very meager sources of revenue, as I told you, because what happened, because with the administration of the GST, after the GST, the octroi and the entry tax, that has been going to the state GST and GST. So municipal corporations are losing a lot of their revenue because of the GST. And if you see one of the estimates, it says that the municipal corporation of Greater Mumbai, they get octroi and entry tax 35% of their total revenue. 35% of the total revenue of the municipal corporation of Greater Mumbai constitute from the octroi and entry tax, which has gone to the GST. Therefore, their amount, the GST from they have the right to get, the urban local bodies has the right to get revenue from the GST, and estimated that it is said, some of the suggestion has got that 20 to 25% of the GST has to go to the local self-government, because we have the state GST and central GST. We don't have the GST for the local self-government, because they require revenue, because most of the urban developmental activities depend on the urban local bodies. So they must have financial empowerment. So GST, they have the right to get some, and many a time property tax are being evaded. That is the great for which the underestimation of the property many a time lead to greater the own sources of revenue reduces. And most of the time what is happening, the urban local bodies being they closer to the people, many a time they don't want to levy more of the taxes. You see, the urban local bodies have been empowered to levy near about 20 to 25 taxes and fees, but mostly they tax only 8 and impose only 5 to 8 taxes. That means rest of the taxes, sources of taxes and fees, they lose. So they must think how they have to strengthen their own sources of revenue, and so that they depend less on the central and state government, because ultimately they are the local self-government. They have to be financially viable. They should create their own sources of revenue so that they become self-sufficient and self-governed. The entire motive of local self-government will be failed if they are not financially empowered. If they don't have their own sources, strengthen their own sources of revenue, then explore the generation of revenue in the capital market. Because you see, this except a few municipalities, as I gave the example of Municipal Corporation of Ahmedabad, Municipal Corporation of Pune, Municipal Corporation of Bangalore, many of the municipalities, small municipalities, they don't raise their income in the capital market. So they should explore the possibility of selling the municipal bond. They should see how to raise the fund through the capital market. That is also very important. Another thing is that they must have willpower to raise the non-tax revenue sources, fees. They have to see, suppose in the municipal areas, municipal corporation, they charges many kind of fee, like you see license fee, they driving license fee, they have the entertainment fee, they charges many kind. But they have to explore what are the other type of fee on non-taxable sources of revenue they can raise from the public. So that is very, very important. That is not happening. Therefore, their own sources of revenue is reducing day by day. So the more they raise their own sources of revenue, they will be more strengthened. Another thing is that there is no timely transfer of fund from the central and state government to the urban local bodies. Most of the, as I told, the 65% of the revenue they are getting from the intergovernmental transfer from the center and state government. But most of the time, the center and state government they don't give the money to transfer the money to the urban local bodies in time. So because of delaying transfer of money from the center and state government to the urban local bodies, their work is delayed. So there must be a continuous, and there must be a very regular transfer of timely and regular transfer of fund from the center and state government to the urban local bodies. And another problem is that under the 74th Constitutional Amendment has a provision of State Finance Commission. The State Finance Commission deals with the financing of the local self-government institution, Panchayati Raj and urban local bodies. So the State Finance Commission need to prepare its report in time. And there must be a proper coordination between the Central Finance Commission and State Finance Commission. If State Finance Commissions submit their report in time to the Central Finance Commission, the Central Finance Commission will go through what are the requirement of the state government, the municipal corporation, what are the requirement of the urban local bodies. Accordingly, they can have the judicious allocation of resources. And if you see that out of 4.5 lakh crore given to the urban to total to the local self-government institution, 4.5 lakh crore the Central Finance Commission has allocated to the local self-government institutions. And out of 4.5 lakh crore, 1.2 lakh crore is given only to the urban local bodies, and the rest goes to the Panchayati Raj institutions. You see, the urban local bodies, the urban areas contribute near about 70% to the GDP. But if you see the allocation of resources, they get from the Central Finance Commission around 40% or 45%. So therefore, the urban areas are the engine of economic growth and development. And most of the developing countries, now urbanization process is going on very fast. So ultimately, every government has realized with their developing, because developed countries has already 80% of people, they are living in the urban areas. And only there is a scope of heavy urbanization in case of African countries. African countries, those who are mostly the developing countries, their urbanization process is much faster even as compared to the developed countries. So therefore, they have to see all those developing countries has to develop a mechanism how much money, how much finance they have to spend for the urban development or urban areas, people, because ultimately urban areas are contributing a lot, 75% to the GDP. So considering the importance of the urban areas and urban development, the financial position, the financial empowerment with full freedom must be given to the urban local bodies. The finance is the key. So municipal finance is one of the important aspects of urban planning and development. Thank you very much.
In my earlier presentation,